Magnavox.
Yeah, they're all.
Well, I think there's
Fine.
two manufacturers, something like that.
They had real good luck with it.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little better than the average.
This reunion a real success. At this time, I think I'd like to I in particular, and everyone else will join me in a moment of silence for all of our classmates who have passed away. And I think we also need to put in our thoughts and our prayers those of us who have lost parents and loved ones. We're getting into that time of our lives when there seems to be a lot of them going. I'd like to take a moment of silence at this time. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to call on our distinguished class president who came all the way from Irvine, California. And by the way, he promised that his speech wasn't going to be as long this time. He's going to keep it down. So I'd like to welcome Harrison Kim Long from Irvine, California. Thank you.
I can't see anybody here. I do have some thoughts. Actually, I was thinking about some of these things last night when I was talking to some people. And it just reminded me how I'm very proud to have the group together, and I was very surprised in talking to people, more so just speaking with people on a one-on-one basis as opposed to reading about it in the yearbook, of how many people that we have who have distinguished themselves in the fields of education and medicine. We have doctors, and we have PhD scientists, and we have PhD university professors. I could name names, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to bore anybody. But I'm very proud that so many of the people in this class have gone on to distinguish themselves in their careers. And I want to express my admiration for those, especially those of you who finished your careers late. I finished my education a little bit late too, so I know how much of an effort that was. And I just talked to Larry Heck, and he finished his PhD here 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm extremely happy that so many of us have taken advantage of the opportunities the educational system in this country have given. And I'm surprised because I don't think that many people in California do. You know, we in California we read about all these wonderful universities and how we have so many people that have an opportunity to go to the University of California system. Of course, we have Stanford and UC Berkeley, the best colleges in the United States, among UCLA. But so many people do not take advantage of what is available, and I'm very happy that so many people here have. And everybody knows who I'm talking about. I don't have to name names. But something came up last night that I've been thinking about, and that is one person in particular told me that something has happened in the last 10 years that bothered him, that he is worried about the world getting bigger and his group of friends get smaller, and he feels like that one of the people in this class I was talking to, he told me that he felt like he was an island because as the farther away all of his friends and family get, the older we get, we lose our friends, we lose our parents, and we lose our family. And he was concerned that we really don't have that many people to depend upon. And I just like to remind everyone that just because we get older and because we're farther away from school and because our children are growing up, doesn't necessarily mean that we have to narrow our field of experience. Especially in California, this is a very big problem. People want to isolate themselves from other people. They want to build walls, and they want to say, this is what I am, and you're not what I am, and I want to do exactly what I do. I don't want to care about what you do. And I'd just like to challenge everybody to continue to try to break those walls down and let yourself be exposed to the new and wonderful things that are available in life. And in particular, I would like to challenge everyone in this class to do something that we were challenged to do 25 years ago. That was to really do something unusual. You know, I think very many people in this class have distinguished themselves in their careers, in their professional careers, in their work, and in their family careers. But just because we're 43 years of age doesn't mean that we have to put aside our ambitions and say, okay, now we've done it all, and let's take our vacations in Palm Springs. Because I think it's time for us to really decide that, you know, we are now what we always dreamt that we were going to be. And we, you know, when we walked down the aisles in, you know, June of 1965, everybody said, "Oh, look at all these kids, and they've got wonderful promise and all that." Well, we've now fulfilled the promise of our generation, but that doesn't mean we stepped back and let the next generation step forward. Now is the time for us, I think, to accept the challenge and to really distinguish ourselves. And I don't mean you have to become the president of your school board or anything like that. Everybody has an opportunity, and it starts in the home, in my opinion. And we have an opportunity to educate our children, our grandchildren, to try to make the world a better place to live. And, you know, I feel very fortunate that I think most of the people in this class have done a good job, that have really worked hard to make something of themselves. But I think now that we've found our mark in life, it's a time for us to really, you know, step forward and be leaders. And so I just want to challenge everybody I'd like to invite everybody to do the same thing that I'm trying to do myself. And that is make a difference in the world, to try to create something unusual. And if you can positively affect the life of one person every day, I think it'd be a better place to live. So that's the message that I want to give, and I thank everybody that's been here. Especially want to thank Bob Vidrickson and all the people that are on our committee. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to name everybody. I don't have my program with me. But Louise, by the way, I want to give a hand to Louise. Probably not going to have another one of these. Which maybe some of you think that's a great thing, because you won't have to hear one of these silly speeches again. But thanks very much for coming, and I hope you get a chance to shake everybody's hand.
Sitting there, I know there's a lot of questions about the financial things that go into these things. And, the committee says, "Oh, we don't need to go into all that," but I think I do want to tell you a few of you what we spend the approximately $4,500 when we came in on this thing. And by the way, those of you that came in late after the deadlines, thanks, because we weren't in the black until you did so. We were hurt for certain. But things like the band is a very expensive band. They're a very good band, and you're going to really enjoy them. That's $1,250. The hall here costs us $300. We have to pay $50 for you rowdy guys. We have to have security around here for basically tear the ceiling tiles down or something, I guess. I don't know what it is. The kegs of beer last night, by the way, you are slowing down. We only went through 3 kegs last night. So, the situation last night is, you know, we're close to $1,000. We have several different mailings that end up costing us around $500 to $600 by the time we go out on the mailings. And we tried a special thing this time to go through a bulk mailing, and it didn't work. We lost the money that we spent on the bulk mailing. The bulk mailings get hung up in some of the post offices around the country, and a lot of people didn't get their flyers. So if you were one of those, thanks for getting here, and maybe that's why somebody else isn't here. We don't know. But then we had to go ahead and remail after that at the full rate, so it didn't work out so hot for us in that regard. The dinner tonight is about $7 per person. We also bought some more kegs of beer tonight when we got into the black. We're probably going to end up with approximately $150 in the black. We started out with $100 from the last time that got us initially going on our mailing. Our memory books cost us approximately $500 to $600 by the time we get them printed, remailed to those who sent in their money. And those people, by the way, are helping us party, because obviously it doesn't cost $8 for every one of those books. but we feel there's a lot of effort go into it. And we did something a little bit different this time. We didn't ask the ladies in our class to get out their old typing fingers and get with it. We went outside. And by the way, I do want to thank Dave Swinson's law firm, because he did offer that service to us, and we appreciate that very much, and they took good care of us there. But anyway, get on to something a little bit more, and we are going to kind of keep this brief if we can. But we talked to some degree about, you know, hey, I didn't know so-and-so was there, or whatever. We're going to call the roll tonight. You're going to stand up. You know, when you just recognize somebody, and I'll assure you, there's a few of us that changed things. Okay, Ralph Baker. And Bradley Anderson and his wife Patricia. Janice Andrews Glenn, her husband Don. Mary Glenn Henry Ash. You should probably went the other way around, Mary, I'm sorry. Dale Ann Ballard Kelly. And the next one, I'll tell you, she's don't get around her on the golf course. She'll hit your ball every time. She hits the wrong ball every time I've ever seen that woman on the golf course. She's hitting the wrong ball. Donna Bachelor Young. I had to get you. I had to get you. Needless to say, she's been after my golf ball a couple of times. Bill Baird, his wife Connie. Larry Bird, his wife Cheryl. Back in front. John Betterson, another one of our eligible bachelors since 1965. Chris Everhart Block. Chris Block Everhart. Helen Louise Bogart, Rob, her husband Chuck. Back here. Elaine Brandt Schrader. Larry Breer, his wife Kathy. Didn't make it, huh? Well, Larry, maybe he'll get here later to join us. Kathy Brensinger, her husband Roy. Connie Brose Oaks, her husband Ron. Clara Brown Watts, her husband Lee, and she did make it. Oh, good. I'm glad. Ron Burt, his wife Nancy. Arvina Castleberry, Lumley. L.A. Clark, Haga. Mary Mark Cloud was here last night, but she's not with us this evening, I don't believe. Diane Coffey French. Pat Collister, another one of our Californians. From the other side of the United States, Ann Engelman North, her husband Richard. Back to the West Coast, Delilah Earl Smith. Still out there, Judy Edmonton. One of the few that came from Salina. We really do apologize. Our numbers here aren't very good. About 20% of the kids that are still here came to the reunion from Salina, so it's pretty poor on our part. Mike Everhart. Alan Faring, his wife Diane. Virginia Fink, Eiserhart, her husband Kermit. Cindy Fleming Braun. David Fossbinder. Kate Francis Runyon. Ed French, his wife Susan. Claudia Garrett Johnson, her husband Jim. Somebody accused her one time of being a foreign exchange student. Really, she's been here all along. Heike Goodikeep Daly. Steve Daly. Larry Guillory, his wife Sherry. Tom Henkel, his wife Cheryl. Steve Hall. There he is. Anita Hayes Larson, her husband John. Charlie Heyman, his wife Carol. Larry Heck, his wife Robbie. Judy Hill Helm, her husband Wilbur. Pam Howison Hine. Barbara Hallen Gardner, her husband Jim. Karen Hubbs Boyd. Ed Irby and his wife Carol. Denny Jorgensen. Dr. Warren. John King and his wife Bonnie. Marjorie Lamer. Out here. Alan Likes. Wife Debbie. What a wild one she is. Peggy Laura Jensen. And the president, Harrison Ken Long. Bill Lundy and his wife Betty. Alan Lyon, his wife Debbie. Whoop. Yeah, Janet Mogg Waddell, her husband Ernie. Kathy Madden Conter. Hope I said that right. Kathy here. Glenn Maddox and his wife Lori. Another guy that really helped us out a lot on the committee, Mike Malone and his wife Shirley. James Marston. Back here. Another committee member, Dennis Matthews, his wife Janice. Another committee member, Janice McAdams Plummer, her husband Joe. Doug McCandless. Friday night chairman, Larry McPhail, his wife Sally.
My Sally's right there.
Bonnie Meyer Hall. John Miller. Marita Miller Murphy. Candace Mowerly. Charles Nywick. Deanne Olson Mansfield. Leslie Martin. The Little Rat, Larry Pack. His wife Patricia. Harry David Page. His wife Ann. Sandra Parson, Delgado. Carolyn Payne. Cheryl Hughes Shannon. Becky Reed Hicks, her husband Dave. Gwen Rebels. I do want to make some special notation to those two ladies right there. They live in Kansas City or in that area, both of them, and they called and offered whatever help they could to be on the committee this year, and that was greatly appreciated. I'll get it out.
Let's get it out, boy. Get it out.
Appreciate it. Wow. So thanks. Jenna Rittenhouse Wall. Philip Rowe. James Roth Costanzo. Janice Root Stroud. Jim Ryan. Mary Susie McCreary and her husband Fred. Joe Shannon. Linda Sharp Benoit, her husband Doug. Fern Schreiber Garnell, her husband James. Sue Soler McKee. Pat Spataford. Nancy Spears Shipley. I don't know if I thought she was registered. David Stevenson. Leanne Stewart Sutterman, her husband Dan. Stratman Sterling, President John. Doug Sunbloom and his wife Joanna. Marvin Swartz Brooks. David Swenson. David Taylor. Terry Hardrock Thomas.
He's not here.
Not here, didn't make it. Frank Ty and his entire group. Nancy, Brad, Brian. Glad they all make it. Lola Turner Nelson, husband Barry. Milt Van Gundy, his wife Jenny. I'm Bob Vidricks, and my wife is Kathy, is right down here. Teddy Warner, his wife Sharon.
Hey, Teddy, turn your head. Thank you.
Steve Walker, his wife Jamie. Odell Weeks and his wife Linda. Marshall Willis Craft, President Kent. Gary Willard.
He's back over there.
Gene Wyman, his wife Rhonda. Carolyn Witherspoon Livingood, husband Larry. John Wood, his wife Mary Pat. Bob Worley, his wife Linda. John Young. Patty Young Masters, her husband Bob. Dale Youngdahl. Shirley Youngdahl Miller. Bruce Zammerslaw and his wife Jeanette. And that is the roll call for this year. If we've left anybody out, to wind this thing up, I really want to say thanks to everybody for about 9 years. We're probably going to have one in 10 years again, I assume. It might be in Las Vegas or Honolulu or something. All right. You guys live in those places, get in, because we're coming, we're going to be good on the party. But on behalf of the committee and everybody, we put that just a small token of our esteem and another little gift for Louise. And I'll tell you, she is the backbone of it, and I really want to personally thank her.
We all had a part in the class, and every one of you is special, and I hope you believe that I mean that. Thanks a lot.
Step Bob, and he indeed was thinking a year ago about it. He came into our first meeting, I think it was in October. He had the basis and the organization already planned. He'd been talking to folks, and he had our band lined out. And I'm just wanting us as a class and our committee particularly want to thank Bob and say we really appreciate it. And again, it couldn't have happened without you, Bob.